welcome students to this NPTEL MOOC module on handling healthcare data. We are on the 4th week to understand the data and this data software, and also we will have one lecture on SPSS as well. I hope you might have been following all the previous guidance correctly. Since I told you repeatedly that we are going to have practical sessions often, and those practicals are going to be very helpful for you for your understanding. Now, in this lecture we will be clarifying you about syntax and do file in Stata. So, you have to take this data user access for 1 week at least. They provide 1 week subscription, free subscription based software to you based on the operation, based on your registration. Okay. So, those aspects we have already guided to you. So, let us move on and clarify what do you mean by syntax. Syntax are basically required some sort of language, some sort of sentences, guidance in Stata commands that will help us to derive results with the help of syntax. These are called rules governing a language sentence structure. This guides all the Stata commands, and it found using help command. This syntax you can actually get it using the help command. Okay. On the help command we have already shown to you on the main window of Stata. You can able to just search on the bottom command. You can type help or search. Okay, your command. So, this is going to give you various syntax. So, what do you mean by command then? This is the only required element and is the command itself, which is usually an action verb and is often followed by the names of one or more variables. Okay. So, it's the action, the exact action you wanted to do followed by the variables, one or more variable. Like here the general Stata command syntax looks like this. You give your command, and then within the bracket or the end you have other options, command options. We will explain all those things through our practical. Similarly, if you want to sort it through variables, if you want to further specify variables, you can also enter by variables and colon and further commands followed by the variable list. Okay. And if clause are if any there, you can also define it. Its range can be defined, weight can be assigned. Okay. And like some using file and their option could also be added. If you wanted to get added with the using file, you can also do it. Commands can usually be abbreviated. Okay, like summarize. For example, we wanted to summarize the data by their different mean, their range, their minimum value, maximum value. If you want to get all those summary of the variable, we can abbreviate the summarize. Like you can type the summarize in total. Those font, those entry we have made it on this PPT with blue letter. That means they are the command. Okay, command in Stata. So, summarize can be abbreviated to SUM sum. If you simply type sum and the variable name, it will give you the summarized form of the data. Simply type your command in the command window and press the enter or the return key, that will give you the result. We need to always remember one aspect, that Stata is very case sensitive. It's very particular whether you are taking the word correctly, you are taking the action word correctly, or with comma or space, full stop, hyphen, those things are very sensitive to stata. We have to remember and accordingly follow the steps carefully. Regarding variable list, the command is often followed by the names of one or more variables. The variable name can be abbreviated to the minimum number of letters that makes it unique in a data set. So, basically as I already said, summarize can be abbreviated to SUM sum. The EXP you have written that what does this mean? The EXP clause is actually used in commands such as generate or replace, where an algebraic expression is used to produce a new variable. Okay. So, like the operations like such as double equal to, if you want to specify the value of a variable, you want to get that variable with that particular value, in that case you have to make the double equal to. Or sometimes and, if you want to join variables, and there is a vertical bar that is called OR. Okay. Or on the keyboard you will find this vertical bar that will basically give you OR options, and there are exclamation marks as well that represent not. Okay. So, I think we already mentioned earlier. They are used like here this is equal, double equal to means equal to specifying a variable, and symbol stands for and vertical small bar is representing OR, and explanation reverse explanation mark is basically your not respectively. The head mark is basically representing your power or exponential. Okay, exponentiation. So, like x square, if you wanted to find out a variable square, x cube, if you write down x, this power notation exponentiation, then followed by 2, that will represent x square in stata. Okay. So, these are quite important, you should take a note of it very carefully. If expression, basically EXP clause is basically your expression. Okay. It is expression of what expression you are going to give it. So, it is not the not the word EXP you are writing, rather like here we said if EXP we are writing it for expression, what expression exactly you wanted to give it in stata. So, these are the expression we are in fact specifying. So, EXP you are not going to write it down. Had it been the same word we are writing, we could have written it on the command in blue color. So, this is not the word, rather this is suggesting which kind of expression we wanted to exercise. So, and if EXP and in range, if the such type of aspects are there, if expression is there, or in range expression is required. The purpose of these two clauses are to pick some observation that satisfy some criteria. Like you want to specify your range of the data within a limit. So, you can specify within a range. Okay. So, your if expression is important to specify within a range. We will also show it in our practical. Similarly, using then options and by variable list, all those things which we have already listed here, we are explaining one by one. Okay. EXP, or then if expression, if basically conditioning upon a particular aspect. Then in range we can define it's not, it's a kind of condition, but if you are defining a range, a value range. Okay. Then accordingly we will be explaining those all other aspects using options in stata. So, in using introduces a file name. This can be file in the computer, on the network or on the internet. So, basically if you are using command is attached to our command, if using as the word is attached, that means you are actually going to use another file which is stored in either computer or in your desktop or in your disk or on the internet, that can be used for the analysis. Options, many commands make use of options, such as like options like clear or unuse or replace, like at the end we will be using replace or clear, etc. Okay. So, that is going to that is going to clear the earlier storage or replace the earlier variable or earlier data. So, this replace command is going to be useful throughout. The next aspect is called by variable variable list, VRLIST. This is a powerful feature. It instructs data to repeat the command for each group of observations defined by distinct values of variables in the list. So, it is basically it instructs data to repeat the command for each group of observation defined by distinct values of the variable in the list. If there are some distinct variable in the list, then that is going to give us by the variable list in the specific list you wanted to derive, that could be highlighted or derived. So, we will be explaining that. Now, let us getting the help on Stata, how we should go for it and how you can able to obtain the result with these all those commands. First one is on help. Help command or function, like you need to get that you need to type command name which displays the help on a separate window called the viewer. Once to obtain the help on a command like or a function, simply type the command name. Okay. Command name like command name may be your regression, for example, you do not know about regression, you simply write reg or regression on the command bar. This will basically act as a command name or help command. So, once you type that and click enter, it displays a separate window called viewer. Viewer window will come. There are some clarification we will give it here. Help, for example, you write down help, then you come help command name, let it be regression or regression, complete regression, or help let it be about panel, okay, or help you take ANOVA. Okay, such type of if you are giving it, it will be displayed in another window, that viewer, that is basically called viewer window. But if you give help command, that is going to be displayed on the same result window, on the same Stata result window, it will be displayed with this help command. You need not open another, it is not going to open another window, rather on the same result window the help will be displayed. On menu bar, if you go to help, then click on Stata command, it will also give you options. If you do not know the command you want to get help on, Stata has a search command for Stata 13 and later version. Find it was was used to be the search command earlier, in the earlier version, basically from Stata 13 and before. They used to have find it. Okay, you have to find find it, that is that used to give the help results. But this one was 13 and later versions are giving search command. Okay, there are numerous chat rooms also available in Stata commands, available in Stata, like Stata commands. Plenty of authors put their new programs on their websites. Then where you are supposed to get those aspects, you need to give, you need to get, you may get it through the Google search. Okay, those Google help you here about if you simply type in Google about your command, and in Stata then it will there are lots of authors who have loaded their own calculation, their commands, their do files plentifully available in search engine, okay, in Google search engine as well. If you cannot find an answer, you can try and post your questions to the Stata list server as well. Okay. Still, if you are a bit confused and if you when you know that it is difficult for you to go for it. So, Stata list viewer list server is in fact another option to get the help. One tip is there for you, that is use the help command often to get clarity on commands and options. Okay. So, help command is going to be the most and very helpful. It's in fact quite useful. Those who wanted to be confident with Stata. So, do files in Stata, what do you mean by that? So far we discussed about syntax and its entries, how we can do it. What do you mean by do file? How in the do file we enter the syntax, okay, that is important. Do files in Stata on the screen. I will show all those things once again with direct operation, but at this moment I am just displaying on this PPT on this slide. It is snapshot of our window. Like in Stata 15 version we are operating, where on a main tab, then toolbar tab, I think you will have this option where we will get our do file. Okay, if you directly click on the do file, it will automatically open a new do file option. Otherwise, there is a drop down arrow menu. Once you click on that, it will show whether you will open the existing one or a new one. Okay. A do file is a set of Stata commands typed in a plain text file. It is a kind of text file where all set of commands are actually typed. Another option is like press control plus 8, control plus 8 to open a do file or open it from the Stata window. So, control plus 8 is also is also a important an important direction, important shortcut to open the do file. So, it is convenient and efficient alternative to typing commands in the Stata command box. Why these are essential, do file essential? Because there might be lots of commands or syntax you want to operate for the result, or you might have modified your variable, recoded your variables, like whatever the data is suggesting you may be in scratch format, but in those primary data may not might not have been filtered. You might have you might require further filtration, you might require modification of the variable, you might follow certain techniques to modify the variable for your use. Maybe a new variable you have generated that explains a combination of different other variables. So, if many such important experiment you do with the data, those require certain syntax or command. Okay, those commands can be stored in do files. Okay, but if you simply type it and without saving it, without generating a right do file and its operation correctly, on the next time whenever you wanted to operate it, on the next time whenever you open the data, you might not get those files or commands. You have to again type from the beginning till the end, which is time consuming, and at the same time it might be difficult for you to find out the right command with its right byte space. Therefore, it is always suggested that should operate it through the do files. Okay.
The do file looks like this, which I have already told you. You simply need to click on this icon and it will open you the do file. A new window will appear, and with that you can able to enter your commands. So, we have been discussing the do file editor, and that once you click on the file, you can able to open it. This looks like the blank page displayed in this particular slide. The blank text document is in fact your do file. You can write, that means you can edit on this particular file with the help of your Stata syntax. We will be guiding in between your progress. Okay. Okay. Then next one is what are the methods of record keeping through do file editor. What kind of method you must obtain, must follow to keep your record. Why we are saying record? We say record because the do file requires set of commands, different possible commands, and how you should start with. First of all, you launch your Stata, you simply start your Stata. Then I will guide you in between once again through the Stata. Let me just check once. I will come back to it like this. I will also operate. Okay, so let me just guide you first. Then I will explain all those things once again. You need to open the Stata. Then do your Stata session. Then on the review window, simply right click anywhere, select all. All basically why select all is required, because you can also remove unsuccessful commands by clicking on the exclamation mark. If you have latest version of Stata, that is basically going to give it, and then right click again and click on send selected to do file editor and then save it. Okay, that will operate it. I can open the Stata right now in front of the screen. So, let me just switch it to Stata mode first. On the Stata, I am just opening one database on your screen. I will let you know how it works. I am just a sample database I am opening here. Okay. This is our Stata data is being opened. The block number 1, 2, 3 merge data set we have opened. Now, what I will do, I will operate many things here, and how on the review, I will tell you that on the left panel we have review command. Okay. On the review, we can able to filter and copy those things to the do file. I will just do couple of things. Suppose this is my data. First what I will do, I will browse it first. Okay. Here I will browse it. How we can browse it? Simply we will write on BR. Okay. BR, then enter, it will show us the entire data. This is my first command I have given it. Then I can close it and I will do another one. You can just see on the result display BR is written. Okay. BR is written, and suppose I write on another one like tab, for example tab, TA or TAB or tabulate. Okay, you will get to know all those things steadily. Suppose I just do tab, and I will go little down and find out one thing from here, that is, let it be tab on district sector, let it be on sector. Okay. Then I will simply enter it. So, this has been entered twice, so I will remove one first, then it is entered. Okay. So, now by clicking on typing the command as tab or TA, okay, or TAB, this is displaying our sector, maybe rural and urban. Now, on the review window you can see that these commands are automatically written. Okay. Suppose I do a wrong entry on my command. Let it be tax, for example tax is entered, TAX tax and that variable. Okay, on the same variable, that is sector. Okay. So, what it comes, you just have a look. Now, the color is changed. color is now in red. Okay, so it is not recognized by Stata. Suppose I will again do tab here on the command tab tab. Then I have entered let it be sector and another variable, two variable let it be, one is sector, then another is maybe maybe our gender. Okay. So, this is gender and enter. So, now this, since it is a tab, is a write command, and now we have not just mapped the frequencies, we have also mapped the cross tabulation. The two variables are their frequency distribution have been was together. Okay, what are the commonalities between these two variables are also identified. Now, in this case what we wanted to do, since on the review panel, you can just see on the left hand side on the screen, review panel, you have all such commands which we have operated, but one command that was in red was incorrect. Okay. But if you want to keep it all those things in your do file, that is not right. All those since some commands are erroneous, so better not to take that to your do file. So, we will first avoid the wrong commands, then we take it to the do file, that is one option. So, we can just do by one thing. I have clicked here, this has actually erased, okay, or avoided my wrong entries. Now, I can right click all the select all, I can select everything. So, just select all. Okay, so control A or control A or select all, control A. So, now all have been selected. I will right click on this. Okay, then I can say send selected to do file editor. Okay, so now these have been saved in the do file editor page. In the fresh blank page, you have actually saved all your operated correct commands. So, this is one option where you are supposed to follow the do file editing. Now, suppose I do not save it. Okay. Let me move to the your PPT once again. So, this is the one. The first method we have already told to you. On that do file which was created, at the end if you know that that was my final one, all the commands are fine, then you can save it. Okay. So, save we did not do it deliberately, we will follow another method and we will also tell you. Another method, like again we need to go to or you need to open the Stata, then we go to main menu at the top right. Okay. Main menu at the top right, launch the do file editor. Okay. Do file editor, then start typing your commands for new file, or you can file editor window from main menu at the top left click on open file icon, then browse to locate or open. Okay. Basically you can just follow all those directions. So, basically we will simply open in the main menu. Then you will launch the do file editor. Okay, then we can start typing our commands. When we know that these are my commands and I am quite handy to it, so I can type it. Then then what I will do, that I can type it, or what I do, if my do file editor is already in my window somewhere, I will just get it. Click on the main menu or the top left click. I mean on the top left, I will click on the open file icon, then browse to locate or open the do file where I have saved it. Okay, like I can just open it and let you know. Then all those options, edit, fix, execute commands as needed, then save under the new name, etc. Can be done it. At the end, we can also keep the exit one as well. This is what I am going to show it to you. Okay, so now my next aspect is to follow another method for do file editor. Okay, so I will first open the new do file window, isn't it? This is where I have clicked it. the do file window has been opened. You can just follow it here on next to the statistics in the toolbar. We have the do file icon, you have clicked it. Now, if you have already saved a do file, then you can click on this folder, it will redirect you to the do file. So, the do file we already saved it, we have already made, this is an example do file, okay. So, we can just open it. So, why am I opening it? Just for your reference, that how you can go for it, how we have operated it, how we have checked different entries, different commands, how those options command is entered, how if command is entered, how weights are given, okay. So, many things are already mentioned. We will explain some of those things later. So, let's first understand. So, let me just go to the next slide and find out what is new and how it will help you to operate on your own. You can enter Stata and instruct Stata to do the file work for you, right, like here is the one, click here to execute the do file. So, this is the one we have shown on the screen, okay. Now, once it is opened, there you can also open many do files, like on the next window on the do file one. I can just show it to you here, like on title, another one you can also open, okay. So, so other do file window you can also simultaneously open. Once you open this, it will also give you another do file to open to the next, but at this moment it is not required to guide further. So, let me move to the next guidance. So, like from the do file we can execute, as I already told to you, we can execute, we can summarize, okay. We can run from the do file also, like if that was the data, I hope this is the data, like we can just I am opening the screen in front of you and also give you the do file window right next to you, and we can operate one by one. Likewise, we manually operated through, like we type tab and sector, it displays results, tab two variables, it displays also results. And similarly, here we can also do the same, okay, operations. So, like here I can select these two, let it be tab, sector and gender. I like tab sector, I can execute it, isn't it? So, similarly, if I just execute it, it will actually run correctly. This is the execute option, okay, that you can also click on. So, one just select this tabbed sector. You can execute here as well, yes. So, by selecting this and executing here, you have got the result as well on the main screen, and this has given. Similarly, the entire do file, if you have correctly entered your do file, specified the do file correctly with its correct slash, double slash, okay, with right comma, with space, if you select everything, it will simultaneously derive all the results on the screen, and it saves your time. Okay, so I am just going to the next aspect. Okay, so we have done those things. Summarize, what summarize gives? Summarize gives you about information about observation, summarize of a variable. So, summarize command we have given it here. These are our other variables. This is my command. This is my syntax, and once I entered it, it gives information about mean of number of observations, standard deviation, minimum value and maximum value. Okay, it also gives from the beginning about if I click on tabulate and the variable name, then it gives frequency distribution, okay, and its cumulative percentages as well. So, use of commands in do files. Use of commands in do files, what kind of commands we should make it, we should specify on the do file. Okay, there are 4 ways to include comments in do file. These are very important, quite often used by the advanced users, okay. like for example, asterisk mark, if we are entering, this indicates a comment. Okay, it is in fact a comment. If in the do file we are given asterisk marks, this is not a command, this is a comment. Okay. This can be useful to annotate output. Okay. So, asterisk marks is quite important. This is useful to annotate the output as well. Then second option is double forward slash, not a backward slash. Backward slash could have been like this. If it is double forward slash, it indicates that everything that follows to the end of the line is a comment and should be ignored by stata. Okay. Like this indicates everything that follows to the end of the line is a comment, okay, and should be ignored by stata. Like once the double slash is given, this indicates that everything that that follows to the end of the line, anything that follows to the end of the line is simply a comment, not a command, okay, and should be ignored by stata while running the command. Then like for one single forward slash with asterisk mark, then we ended it with asterisk marks and one forward slash, then this is used to indicate that all the text between the opening, that is forward slash with asterisk marks, and the closing with this, which may be a few characters or may span several lines. Okay, that this indicates that this your command might continue to several lines. Okay, so and it is a comment to be ignored by, this is also a comment to be ignored by stata. It is not just comment, rather it also suggests that there are many other comments followed after this particular entry. This type of comment can be used anywhere and even in the middle of a line, and is sometimes used to comment out code. Okay. So, these are quite interesting and you should take a note of it. We will also show it here. To indicate to stata that a command continues on the next line, you use once you are saying that your command is actually still continuing, like you have already entered a command, there is no space at the end. So, you want to start fresh on the next line, you should include these 3 forward slashes. Okay. So, these forward lines slash are going to explain you or read the stata that you are continuing with the command. Says that everything else to the end of the line is a comment. Okay. Everything else to the end of the line is a comment, and the command itself continues on the next line. Okay. So, like this you just have a look on the one sample do file. We have shown you that this is your asterisk mark forward slash 1 asterisk mark, then you have given your comment. Okay. It is ended with this again. So, that means data is going to read as a comment, not a command, but these are your command, Okay. Next one is like so similarly, if your command you have given, basically you have given a command here, again it is continuing that what is this command about, basically it continue for, it ends with any sort of entries are basically read with a double slash if you have, double forward slash if you have, then it continue with the continue with the comments, not the command. Okay. So, stata is simply reading the after this forward slash, double forward slash is also the the comment. All right. The style of comment indicates the style of comment indicator you use is up to you, how, which style you are actually including for your command. One advantage of this forward slash with asterisk mark method is that it can be put
at the end of lines. Okay, end of the line, if you are putting it, that means it indicates a complete coverage of your command, complete idea of your command. Now, this one can be put anywhere, as we have already said, it is dependent on the researcher or on the person who is using. Even in the middle of a line, this is what we have already said, middle of a line we can keep it, like tabulate, suppose you have given, then in the middle of a line you have already we have given these kind of entries. Okay. This indicates that it's simply a comment, it's not going to disturb your command. So, Stata, if you select everything and run it, Stata is going to read your command, not your comment. Then similarly, in the next example also we have shown it, and like here use, for example, here use star forward slash, then asterisk marks, then confirm this is latest. Suppose we have simply given it. This is not going to be read as command, as simply a comment, so it is not going to be problematic. And in fact, it is very helpful for the researcher to remember your do file and operate do file correctly. Here, like double forward slash and triple forward slash we have already mentioned. So, after whatever it follows the forward double forward slash, then that is simply the comment we have already told you. So, here you can see this is simply your comment. Then in the triple forward slash, it is basically reading as a continuation. Okay. So, continuation and continuation to the line, and usually that is given at the end. For example, you have used this triple forward slash. So, the Stata is going to read as your continuation command. Okay. That means your commands are still continued. What do you mean by long lines in how to handle long lines in do file? You can change the end of line delimiter to by using delimit. Okay. So, there are delimiter line as well. Okay. So, you can comment out the line break by using this with the comment as delimiters. You can use the triple slash forward triple slash line to join indicators. This is what we have already guided to you. So, I think already I said delimit you can also use it, okay, as and when required. We will also guide you at the time of our explanation. This is where the once again we have shown it how we can use our asterisks and forward slash marks. Okay. That will help you to get the right command, and like here on the bottom that is more important. I am just guiding it to, like, suppose you have already given you a command in this line, then it ends at triple forward slash. That on the next one you are actually using the wait. Okay, that means this command is actually utilizing this next line. Again, if you are using forward triple forward slash, this is again in fact using other commands as well. All right. So, so what are the advantages of do files? Do files, there are lots of advantages, like you can reproduce your work later, makes the inevitable debugging process much easier. You can change one part of the analysis, changing the relevant commands in your do file is much easier and then having to start back at square one, and as is often necessary when working inactively, actively. So, we have already shown it some supplementary file. I can also show it once again. I am not going to spend much time, just going to show it once again on the screen. I have already explained number of things. So, do file we are opening it, some supplementary file, those will be also provided to you at the time of while you are accessing all your files. I am just opening this folder once again, which are going to be uploaded on your screen, just that folder. So, on the 17th lecture we have these. So, we all those things will actually give it to you. So, like we'll keep it the sample data file, then do file example 1, then the schedule 1, which I have repeatedly mentioned. 25 means this indicating your health schedule, 75 round, even other rounds of healthcare, the schedule 25 is also written. So, all those we are going to provide it for your help. Okay, so you need not worry at this moment, you just follow the material of NPTEL correctly, you have all the options to download. I think I should not take much time since we have already exceeded our limit of this lecture. So, I hope you will be enjoying if you do on your own exercise. These are all for today. Thank you.